Hey Dude Finders, this is Matt with Dude Find. I hope you guys are doing well, safe, and happy. So I wanted to go ahead and do another review on some earbuds that I did some full reviews on. I did get quite a bit of responses on my last few videos that you guys wanted to see a head-to-head on the Soundcore AeroFit 2 Pros versus the Shokz OpenFit Pros. And both of these earbuds, as I mentioned in my last reviews, are amazing earbuds. They both have really great qualities. Each bring a few different things to the table. And I wanted to basically break it down on a comparison video with you guys to let you guys know what qualities each hold, and also give you guys a clear winner of which type of people are going to want which type of buds. One thing I can acknowledge is that I have utilized both of these earbuds in real life, and in my full review videos I talk a little bit about the specs and what the specs hold, and I'll kind of mention a little bit about the specs in these, but one thing I want to focus on is just my personal real life experiences with them and my opinions on them. That's one thing in a head-to-head I don't think many people do, and that's one thing I definitely want to do. I want to give you guys my own personal opinion. Your opinion may differ based off of it, and so I would encourage you guys to, of course, do your own research as much as possible, but you know, I do want to go ahead and provide you guys my own experience so you guys don't have to go out and spend your money if you guys are looking for a specific trait or quality with each of these earbuds. So head-to-head, as far as the case and functionality, you guys can see the difference as far as the size with the case between the Shokz and the Soundcore. Now, as far as pocketability, I definitely have to say the Shokz take the win or the lead on these. Now, if you guys can see here, the thickness, and both the thickness and also the length is going to go to the Shokz here. Soundcore is a little bit more thin as far as the width this way, but I would definitely have to say, as far as pocketability, the Shokz are going to go ahead and take the win on this one. I do have to say though that the Soundcore, even though it is slightly a little bit bigger case, I have spent a few more days with these since my last review, and they're really not horrible. I mean, honestly, the case isn't too heavy. It's kind of fits in your pocket, almost like, I mean, it kind of feels like a mini cell phone, really. So as far as the Soundcore, it does have a decent case. It's not something that I would be like, yeah, absolutely not, I'm not going to buy the Soundcore because of the case. I still think they did a good job with it. It's just a little bit big, so I would give the win to the Shokz. So next, let's go ahead and talk about the fit on both of them. So the difference, in at least my own personal experience between using these two, the Shokz, I have noticed that they are, to me, it seems like a little bit easier to flip on the ear. As you guys can see here, literally just basically flip it on the ear, you're good to go. And it sits right outside of the ear here, and so as far as functionality goes and stuff, the Shokz definitely is going to be a little bit easier to go ahead and put on. Now, the Soundcore is a little bit lighter, I would have to say, ergonomically speaking, but as far as putting it in, it's really easy to get looped over the ear, but the one thing that does take a little bit of getting used to is that this part on the ear here, you do have to go ahead and kind of push that in to your ear canal area, and so it does take a little bit of extra getting used to, but once you get it, it's not too bad. It's just you have to kind of finagle it into the ear area right here. So as far as putting them on, not, like I said, it's not a huge deal, but I would definitely say that the Shokz do seem a little bit easier to go ahead and slip on, just like really just over the ear, you call it good, versus the Soundcore. Weight-wise, between the two, though, I would have to say that these are a little bit heavier than the Soundcores. The Shokz do weigh a little bit more, but it's more of like a premium weight, if that makes any sense. The Soundcores definitely have a lighter weight to it, which honestly, between the two, if you're going to do anything such as basically working out, jogging, exercising, lifting weights, just wearing them all day in general. Either of these are going to work just fine. I have worn both of these for several hours throughout the day and have not gotten ear fatigue from either of them. Let's talk about stability. As far as stability goes, really the only way that I can think of showing you guys this is just doing a shake test, so bear with me just a second here. I will show you guys that basically both of them stay in place. So I would have to say, as far as stability wise, they're a tie. Now, as you guys can see, I usually wear a hat, but they fit just fine on a hat. I was able to put them on without taking off my hat. They fit just fine here. I do wear glasses as well, and so these glasses, as you guys can see, basically ergonomically speaking, I can wear them with glasses without any problems at all, and they don't push down at all. The Soundcore, I can still do adjustment as far as into the ear canal and out into open mode. Don't have any issues wearing glasses either. So another thing that's kind of a common question, I guess a lot of people sleep with earbuds, is basically, can you sleep with them? And I personally have not tested a full night worth of sleep on them, but I do have a blanket here that I can show you guys as far as laying down, what the comfort is, if they get messed up at all. So as far as this goes, these are the Shokz that I'm laying on right now. I don't have any issue. I'm not feeling any ear pressure or anything like that. So Shokz handle pretty good. Let's test out the Soundcore. So Soundcore, as far as laying down on this blanket, I am feeling a little bit more pressure on this Soundcore. Now, it's not uncomfortable, if that makes sense. And this is an open ear mode. Let me try closed ear real quick. Closed ear does feel a little bit more secure. Seems like the pressure kind of shifts to more so like in the ear canal, just like basically fitting into it. So it is a little bit more comfortable as far as the closed position. I mean, honestly, I would say basically both of these are doable with side sleepers. If you guys want to listen to these while sleeping, I would definitely say though that the Shokz, I feel like, are a little bit more comfortable on the side with the pressure, and so I would give a win to the Shokz. If you're a side sleeper, you'll probably have a little bit more comfort ergonomically speaking. So as far as fit and comfort, which is what I just covered here, I would have to say, ergonomically speaking, you've got the cases, you've got basically fit and comfort, you've got laying down comfortability there with glasses. They're pretty close. I mean, it is going to be a close matchup between these two, but I would have to give slightly a little bit more edge to the Shokz, just because of the fact that with laying down, it did feel a little bit better here. And also being able to put them on, you do have a little bit more ease putting them on. I guess a little bit less of a learning curve than the Soundcore. Between these two, both are compatible with multi-point pairing, and so you get that functionality with both of these, so they're tied there. As far as app goes, the app on both Shokz and Soundcore are both great apps. They've done a really great job at integrating features, being able to customize EQ, control button functionality, and so both of the apps are really good. However, the Soundcore, I think, does have a little bit more focus on EQing than the Shokz do. The Shokz have Dolby Digital, which is awesome. It is an option that they have, but the Soundcore, which are these guys here, as far as the app goes, the functionality with the EQ, they do have a bunch of preset EQs. And then one other thing that has been mentioned in other videos that I've seen floating around YouTube is that the Soundcore, and I did test this out and checked it out, but basically they have a dual EQ, which I think is actually pretty cool, with the basically the open ear function and then also the closed ear function. And so you can kind of control the EQ on how it sounds in both, because you know, basically open ear, you're going to get a different sound than with your ear being plugged up in closed ear position. So I would have to say app experience, slight edge to Soundcore here versus Shokz. Alright, so real quick, let's go ahead and talk about controls here. So Soundcore, as you guys can see here, like I mentioned in my review video, is that you have the button push control right here on the edge. One thing I do like that Soundcore did that I think was an excellent job is that the integration of the button push here versus like touch control, because you are touching these quite a bit with adjusting it, going from like either open ear mode to closed ear A and C. And so I think Soundcore did a really good job at thinking that through. The one thing as far as button control that has been a little bit, you know, of an inconvenience, I guess you can say, is that the Soundcore, when you do put them on, one thing I have noticed is sometimes, not all the time, it's just kind of just I've noticed, is that when you push them kind of into your ear area right here, sometimes I will accidentally push and trigger the play button on these when putting them on. But that's really the only thing that I've noticed. Now, as far as the Shokz with the button control, Shokz basically just has one button here, one uniform button. It is also button control. It's not touch control. Like I said, through the app, you can customize basically both as far as, you know, double click, click, triple click, you know, click and hold on both the Soundcore and the Shokz. When I have earbuds in, I want to be able to find the functionality or the button control really easily. And I think both are great. And so on this one, I would give a slight edge to the Shokz because I haven't had any usability issues at all, and maybe it's just user error on the Soundcore, but I haven't had any usability issues with the Shokz. But the Soundcore, like I said, I have accidentally pushed and played the button before with trying to put it in with adjusting it. And jumping back to the cases really quick, one thing I wanted to cover here is the case quality itself. So case quality, I think both did a really good job with case quality. You've got more of like a softer silicone down here. When you shut it, you've got basically a cool light, and this is on the Soundcores. But I would have to say that the Shokz do feel and look a little bit more premium than the Soundcore. Now, given the price, it kind of makes sense. It's like, I mean, you are paying about $100 less on that, and so you are, you know, I would expect to get a little bit more of a premium case, you know, with a little bit of extra money that you're going to be paying on that. Both are good cases, but like I said, you know, I think the case, as far as the case quality here, Shokz is going to take the win on that too. So one other thing that I wanted to mention on the case and charging and quality and stuff is how easy are they to put in the case and take out. That's one thing that I think matters to a lot of people. It matters to me, and so wanted to let you guys know on that. So as far as the Soundcore, let's do these first. So basically the Soundcore, with what you have when you put these in, they made it really pretty easy to be able to function. So literally all you do is just take this little bottom kind of part here, and you just put it there and just plop them right in. So they just kind of just fall down in there. They stay in really well. So I think Soundcore did a really good job at you know, basically being able to put them in. Now with taking them out, same thing here, is that they do pop out a little bit, so they do make it pretty easy to be able to pull them out. Now with the Shokz, as far as putting them in, pretty easy. Literally all you have to do is just line up the buds here and just click it in. Magnet holds pretty well. The magnet, I would have to say, is a little bit stronger on the Soundcore than the Shokz, but the Shokz, I mean, it's still, as you guys can see, it's upside down. Shaking it doesn't come out. So I mean, as long as you're semi-gentle with these, I mean, it's gonna hold into the case here. Now with pulling them out, these are a little bit more challenging. What I've been doing is just basically grabbing the side here and pulling them out. They're not hard by any means, but it's just you have to be a little bit more detailed with like where you're grabbing and stuff. I think just because of the fact that you just don't have a lot of room to grab them. They're not difficult to pull out, but I would have to say putting in, I would say probably both about the same. Maybe the edge on the Soundcore, and also pulling out, I think Soundcore is a little bit easier to grab. So I would have to say that the Soundcore, as far as being able to put in the earbuds and take them out of the case, would probably take the win in my opinion on that. Alright, so let's talk about water resistance here. So both Soundcore and Shokz are both IP55 water resistant. So they are tied here. There's no difference between the water resistance. Basically handles sweat, rain, and pretty much any type of busy day that you have with these. Let's go on to the next spec here. Comparing the two is the Bluetooth. So Bluetooth 6.1. is what both of these support. It's pretty much the latest Bluetooth tech. As far as spec goes on this type of Bluetooth, you can basically enjoy up to a reliable connection up to 10 meters, which is about 33 feet. I have tested both of these in my house through walls, no problem at all. Being able to wear these, not having very much, interruption with the sound quality or the music coming through on both of these. So they handle really great. They are both Bluetooth 6.1, so you're going to have a tie there between the two. And then really quick on the charging, once again, you're going to have a tie between wireless charging and also USB-C charging. So charging is going to be the same as far as the type of charging that it can handle. Okay, so starting out with the Soundcore. So these ones you're going to get 7 hours per charge and then 34 hours with the case. So in ANC form, when you've got basically the noise cancellation form on and the down mode with these, you're going to have 5 hours per charge and 24 hours with the case. Pretty good, pretty decent. However, Shokz knocks these guys out of the ballpark with this. So Shokz gives up to 50 hours total with the case, and then basically a total of 12 hours per charge with noise reduction off, and then basically up to 24 hours and 6 hours per charge with the noise reduction on. Both of them also do support quick charge as well, but I would have to say the win goes to the Shokz as far as the battery life. So I'm actually excited to show you guys this. So I went ahead and did my quality test on both of the earbuds when I was doing the review testing, and someone in the comments basically posted that I should put these through a stress test with the mic pickup on both of them. So that's what I did. So I have a video that I'm going to go ahead and show you guys in just a second, but just talking a little bit about it real quick. What I did is I basically had my wife drive me around, and I was in the passenger seat, of course, and basically I put both of these on, tested them individually, of course, and I recorded the sound quality on the Shokz and also the sound quality on the Soundcores. Now, as far as with what was going on in the environment, what I did is I had the radio almost full blast. I mean, it was pretty loud. I had the windows down, the wind was blowing in, it was just super loud. So I mean, as far as stress test with the mic pickup on both of these, you're not gonna get more of a stress test than that as far as the mic quality with both of these. Alright, so with that said, without further ado, let me go ahead, flip to the video clip real quick so you guys can hear the quality between the two, and then we'll go ahead and talk about which one I think is the winner. Alright guys, so this is the Soundcore AeroFit 2 Pro. Same situation. It's got music in the background with wind on the passenger side here. I've got them in open ear mode right now. This is what the ambient noise blockage is going to sound like. And then going into ANC mode here. This is what the quality is going to sound like in ANC. Like I said, I've got the radio blast, air going, full blast, windows down. So this is what quality you're going to get like on the Soundcore. Okay guys, so these are the Shokz OpenFit Pro that I've got on right now. Going down the road with the wind out the window on the passenger side here. And this is what the sound quality is going to sound like with tons of noise ambience in the background. This is how well the mics are going to pick up on this. So now that you guys had a chance to listen to the mic pickup in my stress test situation here, do you guys think that the Soundcore won on that one, or do you guys think that the Shokz won? My personal opinion with the quality goes, I think both handle okay. I mean, you can definitely take a call in a really loud situation and hear both, but I do think that the Shokz did take the win on that and did reduce the noise around you a lot better than the Soundcores. However, voice pickup I think did pretty good on both, but yes, these did take the lead on that. So win goes to the Shokz with the mic pickup. So when going to the gym, I kind of think about both here, and this really depends on personal preference, and I'll tell you my opinion. And like I said, my opinion is subject to my own. This may be different for you, but as far as the Shokz The Shokz have really good sound quality and are very comfortable. They fit good. Like I said, they stay on the ear really well. No issues there at all. I would say that going to the gym, these will handle wonderfully. You would be able to hear everybody around you just fine, even with the noise reduction on. Just sounds like I said in the review video that I did, a little bit muffled. But Shokz are going to handle great. However, this is where these come in. If I'm going to the gym, a lot of times I am basically, lifting weights, I'm moving things, ropes are flying around if I'm whipping ropes and stuff. And so, there's a lot of things that can happen that can potentially knock your ear or hit your head. Hopefully you're not getting hit too much at the gym, but there's a few things that can happen to you. And my personal perspective on that is I think at the gym, I probably would rather bring the sound cords, because of the fact that they are a little bit more budget friendly. And I think that they are a little bit lighter. And so as far as, basically working out, I think, the other thing too is that these do plug into this hole in your ear a little bit better. And so I do think, if you end up getting knocked or anything like that, I think these would probably stay on slightly a little bit better than the Shokz. And the Shokz, honestly, I just have more of a protective feeling over these. So I feel like I would be a little bit more like protective, not wanting these to get damaged versus these. I feel like these I'd be willing to beat up a little bit more. Still love these, don't want them ruined, but I feel like I'd be able to beat these up just a tad bit more. Now, like I said, that's my own personal opinion. I do think that both of these, the Shokz and the Soundcore, if you're going to the gym, both are golden. You're going to have an awesome experience with both. Now, the other thing too is at the gym, you've got noise reduction on the Shokz. Now, on noise reduction, one thing I have noticed on these is that when you have noise reduction on, you can still hear things around you. It's just a little bit less intense, if that makes sense. It's just a little bit more muffled. I don't know if any of you guys have seen the movie Saving Private Ryan, but basically when the shell shock hits and kind of everything just goes in, that's kind of what this does. So you can still hear around you. It's just a little bit more muffled. So you don't get full active noise cancellation. Now, that's one thing to consider at the gym, if you're in a public place like that. Now, as far as the Soundcore, because of the fact that you can plug up your ear and it does have noise cancellation, you can go to the gym and block out more noise with the Soundcores than the Shokz. So my personal opinion at the gym, I would have to say that the Soundcores take the lead on that. Running outside, I think minus what I just talked about with the noise reduction and noise cancellation, really that just depends on personal preference, because when you're in the basically open ear mode on these, it's just like open ear mode on these without the noise reduction. So pretty much par and par there. As far as, them staying on, you're going to be just fine with either or. I don't think that weight or ear fatigue is going to be an issue if you're running at all. And I do think, if you're running, the one thing that I have heard from a lot of people, I'm not an avid runner myself or anything like that. So I wouldn't be able to tell you personally, but I do think that that I probably wouldn't be using the noise cancellation too much with running, because I do want to hear what's around me as far as the vehicles that are, ongoing traffic. If anybody's coming up behind you, whatever's going on, I think you want to pay a little bit more attention to your surroundings. So I would have to say I'd probably be more adept to use the Shokz versus the Soundcore on a jog. So as far as the office, I think, if you're kind of working in office and stuff, and I think both, this is such a hard chalk up as far as the fight, between the two, because both are excellent quality, earbuds, and in any situation, I think they both handle really well. But my own personal opinion, we'll stick to that, is that if I was at the office, I think, I'm probably not going to want to go on full active noise cancellation in the office, just because of the fact that, most of the time people are coming up to you, they're trying to talk to you, always being interrupted and having to go back and forth and stuff, I think would be a little bit annoying. You can do it though. It's totally fine. But however, the Shokz, like I said, if you're in the noise reduction mode, you can still hear what's going on around you. So if somebody came up and talked to you, as long as your volume isn't totally cranked up on these would probably handle a little bit better with people being able to talk to you. Now, if you're in the office and you're in a situation where you just need to zone out and totally hit a spreadsheet or something like that, and you're not going to have interruptions, these are probably going to have a benefit on that. So something to consider. Personal preference though, I think I would be more likely to bring these into the office, because I'm not going to, of course, get them hurt or knocked off or anything like that, than the Soundcores. All right, all day wear, I'm going to give a tie to both of them. Both of them handle really well. They both fit great. They both feel great. Like I said, these weigh just a tad bit more, but honestly, personal preference wise, I don't notice a difference between the two when I'm wearing them. Comfort wise, they're both par, so that's going to be a tie between the two. So let's talk about travelers. If you're going to the airport, if you're driving in a car, as far as that goes, I think both are going to do great, but I would have to say, I do, when I'm traveling at the airport, you want to hear basically, announcements, you want to hear everything that's going on around you. If you're driving a car, of course, you want to hear, your surroundings with that if cars are honking at you. So I would have to say that the Shokz probably do take advantage on that. However, Soundcore and open ear mode, half of the functionality that you have with these would work great too. But I do think all around the Shokz are going to be good. Now, the other side of things on that is with the Soundcore, if you're traveling on a plane, I think is going to take the advantage because it's got full active noise cancellation versus noise reduction. But these are going to sound great on the plane too. I think you'll be able to drown out plenty of noise with these Shokz as well. But I do think on an airplane, if you're traveling and that's priority to you, active noise cancellation, you're probably going to want to go for the Soundcores. The one thing I also wanted to mention with the Shokz is that these do come with if you guys can see here, they come with the removable silicone kind of ear cushion thing here, which adds extra support. And so if you do have a smaller ear, I think that these are going to probably benefit with that, as far as giving you a little bit more of a fixed hold with the ear. And I really enjoy them on, and so I've used them on pretty much the whole time since I got them. Let's go ahead and talk about price versus value. So price, you've got the Soundcores right here at $149 currently. I think they are on a discount. Usually I think what they're projected to be listed at is about $179, so $180, but that's kind of the ballpark range on price that you're going to get there. And then the Shokz, of course, are going to be a little bit more. These are going to run you about $249 is what you're going to get. Now, do you get what you pay for on both of them? Yeah, I would definitely say you get what you pay for on both of these. As far as value goes, I think the extra that you pay for the Shokz does show with the newer updated technology that the Shokz are carrying. However, with the Soundcores, value-wise, bang for the buck, you're getting a awesome product for the price that the Soundcores are listed at as well. Now, as far as which one is more premium, I would definitely give the win to the Shokz here. Shokz, the company, really focused on integrating, like I said, new technology with this, with the noise reduction, with the dual drivers, the dual dynamic drivers that they have in here. So there's a lot of new technology. The case feels premium. The earbuds feel a little bit more heavy, like the material that they're made out of is just a little bit more premium than the Soundcores. So if you're looking for a premium build, the winner is going to go to the Shokz. Lastly, the main thing we all, of course, get earbuds for, or at least the majority of us, is going to be the sound quality. And so that's one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, is the sound quality. Sound quality on the Soundcore. Let's start with these. So the sound quality on the Soundcore sounds excellent. You get the traditional, basically earbud and open ear sound. It's high res audio. It sounds really fantastic. You've got 11.8 millimeter diaphragm, basically, that gives you detail in really each layer of music. So you've got the lows, the mids, the highs. And I've noticed as far as the sound goes, it sounds excellent in open ear and also closed ear. It goes to the ANC mode. It sounds excellent in that mode too. And so you're going to get really, really good sound out of the Soundcore with that. Really quick, let's talk about the Shokz now. Basically what you get out of the Shokz sound quality. So the Shokz are on a completely different level, and this was hard for me to compare, basically too, because it's almost like comparing apples to oranges here. But the sound quality is amazing on the Shokz, but you get just such a rich, dynamic sound stage with these Shokz that it kind of breaks the barrier of a traditional earbud sound. That's the only way that I can explain it. And they do have what they did with their new technology that they integrated is they have a new technology called Super Boost, and it's powered by two 11 by 20 millimeter dynamic dual drivers. And so this sound technology that Shokz has put in, like I said, is just next level. They really basically brought it to the game as far as pushing earbud technology, headphone technology to a totally different place here in the future, which I think we're going to see in future products with other companies. But that is one thing that Shokz did nail with the sound. Before I give you my verdict on this, I want to talk about the noise reduction on the Shokz and then also the noise cancellation on the Soundcores. So the Soundcores, the active noise cancellation that you get, so basically when you go down to the 5th click on the Soundcore, you're basically going to activate active noise cancellation. And you guys can see here, basically this part of the bud completely plugs up my ear. And so most of the sound that is around me when it's in the noise cancellation mode, I can't hear. It's not, completely drowning out every single sound. Like it's kind of like a lightweight active noise cancellation. I'd say kind of medium weight more so, but you do get pretty good active noise cancellation with these. Now, as far as the Shokz with the noise reduction, so the noise reduction on this is a new technology as well. And this is one thing on the Shokz that completely blew me away. I was so surprised, and I know that there's been a lot of the reviewers on YouTube that have mentioned this too. You have to try it to experience it, and it honestly is such an amazing new type of technology, which is so cool. Like, it's just cool. That's the word I can put with it. With that said, though, the noise reduction on the Shokz is not as powerful as the noise cancellation on the Soundcore due to the functionality of it, and you're just basically plugging up more with the ear on the Soundcores versus the Shokz. However, the Shokz do a fantastic job at drowning out just that extra edge of noise to be able to hear your music clearly on whatever you're doing. The active noise reduction on these, or the noise reduction, does work pretty well. I mean, you can go really anywhere you need to. You'll still hear things around you, but it'll be quiet enough, it'll drown out enough sound mostly to be able to hear the music or podcast or whatever you're listening to without having issues. So between the Soundcore and the Shokz, which one takes the winner for sound quality? That's going to be tough, but I would have to say the new technology that Shokz has put in, my personal preference on what I prefer, I do think that the Shokz sound, the dynamic sound that Shokz put out, is just, it's incredible. The bass thumps, it sounds really good, and it breaks, like I said, the best way I can put it is it breaks that traditional earbud sound, or the over-ear, open-ear sound. And that's one thing that just has completely floored me. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it and just enjoy the experience with it. But Shokz definitely, I would have to say, preferably wise, on my opinion, has a little bit better sound. Now, Soundcore, that doesn't basically take away from Soundcore. Soundcore, they nailed it with the sound too, but it's more of the traditional style. But it sounds good. It sounds clear. you're going to get those crystal clear highs and mids. You're going to get still really good bass. And so what I'm trying to say is you can't go wrong with either or, depending on, you know, what you want to do, depending on your budget, depending on your daily life and usage of what you would prefer. But I can say the extra price you pay for the Shokz on the sound quality, you are getting that upgraded, just amazing quality with sound. Noise cancellation or noise reduction, the technology in this is amazing, but if your focus is for quietness and just completely canceling out sound, the Soundcore is going to have the win on that. You are going to have the win on that. However, the technology and the active noise reduction, or the noise reduction that Shokz has, is just incredible. And like I said, you have to try it to experience it, and it's just such a cool feature, which packs into the price with this, which I think, you know, definitely justifies you know, the extra $100 that you're going to pay for these versus the Soundcore. Between the two, Soundcore versus Shokz, which one would I pick? Which one wins the battle here? I would say it depends on your own personal preference. It depends on your personal lifestyle, and it depends on kind of just you as a person, on the qualities and traits that you would prefer. Because I think, I mean, as far as both, like I said, either or you can't go wrong with. They're both really great over-the-ear open earbuds. However, if you are, you know, definitely more focused on the budget side of things, more budget friendly, I'd say go for the Soundcore. Definitely offers the features of open ear and also, you know, closed ear. And I feel like you're going to be really happy with these, as long as, you know, ergonomically speaking, they fit you okay. Now, if you're the kind of person that, you know, you want to experience the new type of tech that's coming out, you want to see what the coolest new stuff is, you just want the most premium sound quality, you know, you can get. You don't really care too much about active noise cancellation, but you're okay with, you know, noise reduction, which is still a super cool feature that these have. You know, you're not too worried about banging, you know, up your headphones or anything like that. The Shokz are going to be a solid win as well, which are going to, you know, definitely provide you the features versus what you're going to be paying on that. So with ending this video, I hope you guys, with my comparison between the two here, got some beneficial information. I would like to know, as far as in the comments here, if you guys could post in comments, you know, based off of what I've said, my review, the looks, the fit, the sound, everything else that the features throw in with both the Soundcore and the Shokz, which one are you going to go for? I'm curious to know which one you're going to choose, and also why. So as always, once again, you know, thank you for supporting my channel and giving you my real life and real world experience on these products here. If you haven't already, you know, please subscribe to my channel. Please, you know, like the video, make a comment, and of course, you know, make sure to hit that notification bell. I've definitely got quite a few other reviews coming out. And as always, I hope you guys stay safe and happy, and we will see you guys next time.